All right, let's just run through the quick spec of this vehicle. This is the bit that gets me going. Toyota 2JZ GTE VVTi engine. Garrett GTX 3582R Gen 2 turbo. Garrett intercooler. Weber manifold, downpipe and turbo piping. TL Q Sport 50mm blow-off valve. Turbo blanket, 4-inch cold air intake. The AIM MXG 1.2 7-inch display. We've got injector dynamics, 1300cc injectors, CD009 HR 6-speed manual transmission. So that's quite interesting because we've got a Mercedes-Benz with the legendary 2JZ Toyota engine and a Nissan 6-speed transmission. We've got we've got the start button and the shift knob. We've got the short shifter. Then we've got a 350Z carbon fiber propeller shaft. Oh my God, that is just crazy. We've got CLK 55 parts. We've got the rear subframe, rear axle, and the rear differential. And we've got a Nissan GT-R 35 exhaust done by Dynamic Racing and Yoshira Performance. Okay, we've come into the stopping part of it. We've got some D2 stuff here. We've got 6-pot brakes in the front, 4 pots in the back. They're just massive. Just look at them. They're crazy. With this kind of power, I'd want a set of slicks on it. Yeah. All right. Aero kit. Prior design, A kit by Germany, W208. Rear half cage, which is also cool, giving it a kind of a Porsche GT3 vibe. Yeah, that was done in Sri Lanka by Yoshira Performance and customized by Viscom Brothers. Headlights, tail lights imported from USA. We've got, we've got some stereo stuff. But hey, who wants stereo when you can listen to the 2JZ sing all day? Yeah, but it's got some. All right, we're here with Nadeera Jinasena of Dynamic Racing, the man behind the magic of making this car happen. Nadeera, welcome. Right. All right, first I got to ask you a question. When the owner of this car came to you and told you he wants an engine swap done, or maybe a 2JZ engine swap done, you just heard me read out the list of stuff, right? Yeah. I was like, oh, it was like that long. Did he have all that in mind?
Not at all.
Okay.
It was about to be just a simple engine swap.
A simple engine swap.
Yeah.
Okay guys, project car guys out there, this is what can happen when you start off with a simple engine swap. All right.
And that became a sleeper, and this is where it is now.
All right. Okay. So let's start at the very beginning. What's the first thing that you did on this car? The first thing, the very first step, if you can remember and recall back.
After we decided that we are going for a 2JZ, just had to strip it down, basically strip down everything.
So you just took it down to bare metal?
Bare metal, everything, and because we didn't know what kind of modification that we had to do for this.
All right.
So we stripped it down and then started, putting things together and see how we need to do the modification.
Okay. How did you come up with the concept of the Nissan 6-speed gearbox? What is that gearbox out of, if you don't mind?
It's from a 350.
From the 350cc. Yeah. So why didn't you go with the Toyota gearbox?
This gearbox is rated up to 1000 horsepower standard.
Oh, right.
So our plan was actually to build everything that we can go up to 1000 horsepower.
Okay. So 1000 horsepower, yeah. It's nothing, You can do it every day of the week. Yeah. All right. Okay. So cool. Right. So we got the 350cc 1000 horsepower gearbox and the Toyota engine. I just want to ask you, when you were putting the engine in and the gearbox length, was there any issue with where the shifter was, or how did you kind of?
Not really.
Not really.
Everything,
it lined up pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah. Even the mounts and all that, pretty close to the standard setup.
Okay, pretty close to standard setup. Great. Nadeera, just tell me about the chassis work. Was any chassis work done to this car to accommodate the engine and the gearbox?
The transmission tunnel was slightly modified.
Okay.
Because the bell housing of the CT0009 was slightly bigger.
Okay.
So we had to do some modification for that. Other than that, not really.
Right. In a ratio, right? Let's say maybe 10%, 20%. How much of this build was like completely custom, which is like relevant only to this car, or were there like off-the-shelf parts that you could buy? I know there's a lot of off-the-shelf parts. Yeah. How much of percentage was completely custom for this build? Would you like
almost everything except for even the body is slightly modified, but everything else was there was nothing off the shelf for this.
Oh, really?
Everything from the suspension to brakes to wheels, axles, and everything.
So you had to get the axles custom built?
Everything, yes.
Oh my goodness me! All right, fantastic. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So tell me about your the build process, the relationship that you as the builder tuner had with the owner. How was his passion? How was his commitment, Mr. Milinda?
Yeah.
Milinda, yeah. How did he approach it, and how did you guys work together?
So as we said, like it just started as a simple engine swap, and then he said, no, I want to do something better than this, and like once he started doing it, he was like, I want to like go to the maximum what we can do with this.
All right, okay.
There's no limit. You tell me whatever you want, we'll go ahead with that.
Wow. Yeah.
So there was no
I guess
limit.
as a builder, that's kind of like your dream build, right?
That's why it's like this, because he gave me the freedom to do whatever I want.
All right, okay.
And we didn't have a budget, nothing. He said, whatever you want, we'll go ahead.
Fantastic. Nadeera, just tell me about the wiring system, how you integrated Mercedes, the things like, you know, the central locking, the power mirrors of the Mercedes CAN system into the Haltech ECU. Can you just run through that? I know it's going to be like high tech, but just give us an idea.
The basic wiring is actually the OEM.
Okay.
We just
so that's the Mercedes CLK 200 wiring. That's the basic stuff that's in the car. All right.
Some of them are being modified, and for the engine and the dash and all the other electronics, we have a separate wire loom that runs through Haltech, and everything else is actually, the wiring part is not a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying that it's not a big thing, but you know, I'm just trying to wrap my head around that, and I'm sure most people are like, okay, you know, how, just run me through that little, the can pad on the Haltech. What are the controls that are available on that?
Right now we have some limiters on it, like we can do speed limiting, RPM limiting, plus different maps and different boost levels on that.
I noticed that when I was coming in traffic, there was like a little logo that said creep, and it was blinking. What's that one?
That is for actually for the start, because since we are running a triple plate, it's a bit difficult to launch it.
All right, okay.
So
it's like
I just set it up so we can have
like a moving mode. So the engine won't die, or you won't overrev it on the launch, right?
Yes, correct.
Nadeera, have you guys tested the car on the dyno? Have you pushed it? Are you okay with revealing some numbers to us to let us know what kind of horsepower it's making?
Yeah, right now it's running a stock engine.
Okay.
So we didn't want to push it that high, and since we had no experience with this setup, we wanted to first try it in a safe level and see where it is and how the car is going to handle.
Okay.
So we limited at 380 wheel at the moment.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic. Yeah.
So
I mean,
more.
that's brilliant. And how much does the Merc, the CLK 200, how much does it weigh? Were you all able to reduce any weight of it, or is it about the same level of weight?
It's about the same weight right now.
About the same
weight, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Weight-wise, there's nothing much difference, but I think engine is a little heavier than what it was. So.
Okay, but then you guys have got some carbon parts and all that, so it kind of levels the weight off. One more thing, I want to ask you about the suspension. I noticed the car doing the air suspension thing. Why did you all decide to go with the air suspension? Was it for comfort purely, or was it for look and
just
stance?
Look, yeah.
The looks and the stance.
Because he wanted the car to be very low, and but with our roads, we can't just run a lowered car like that. So we thought, okay, best option is to go for a air ride, so we can lift it up whenever we want, and we can just lower it whenever we want.
Okay. How would you think that this car would perform, say, at a racetrack, just on a tarmac? How would you think it would perform? Would it? Is it like a straight line car, or do you think that it will have some great performance around the corners as well?
We didn't get a chance to test it yet, but from what I've been like, since we built it, we've been driving it a bit. It's pretty decent. I think it should be okay.
It should be great, no? Yeah. So hopefully we'll get to do that one day as well.
Yeah.
All right, Nadeera, thank you so much for that lovely description. All right, guys, that's it from this episode of Pit Pass Specials. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, and make sure you follow Pit Pass for all the special content that will be coming up. A big shout out to the Pink Auto Shop for having us, and hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was absolutely wonderful. to have a look at this amazing beast and have a chat with the person who built it, and catch you again soon.
We are Pit Pass, Sri Lanka.